I found the first sticky note on a Tuesday morning, stuck to the coffee maker. Yellow, square, unremarkable, except for the handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. Maya's looping letters. The way she dotted her eyes with little circles like she was still in high school even though we were both 24. It said, reason number 1, you make coffee exactly the way I need it without me having to ask. I stood there in my pajamas, mug halfway to my lips, staring at that little piece of paper. My heart did this stupid flutter thing, the kind I'd been trying to ignore for the past 6 months, the kind that happened every time Maya walked into a room, every time she laughed at one of my terrible jokes, every time her hand accidentally brushed mine when we were cooking dinner together. We'd been flatmates for 8 months. She'd answered my ad looking for a roommate after my ex moved out, taking half the furniture and all of my confidence with her. Maya showed up at my door with a nervous smile and a potted plant as a housewarming gift, even though technically I was already living here. The plant was still alive, sitting on our kitchen windowsill. I watered it religiously, maybe because it felt like taking care of something she'd given me. I peeled the sticky note off the coffee maker and held it between my fingers. Reason number 1, which implied there would be more. My stomach twisted with something that felt like hope and terror in equal measure. The second note appeared that evening, stuck to my bedroom door. Reason number 2, you listen to me talk about my day like it actually matters. I pressed my forehead against the door frame, closing my eyes. Of course it mattered. Everything about her mattered to me, which was exactly the problem. I'd promised myself I wouldn't do this again, wouldn't fall for a straight girl who saw me as just a friend, just a roommate, just someone safe to be around because there was no risk of complication. Except Maya had never actually said she was straight. I just assumed, the way you do, because most people are, and it's easier to assume than to hope. I found the third note the next morning on the bathroom mirror. Reason number 3, you sing in the shower and pretend you don't when I mention it. My face burned even though I was alone. I did sing in the shower, badly, loudly, songs from musicals mostly because I'm a walking lesbian stereotype, and I've made peace with that. I'd had no idea she could hear me. I caught her in the kitchen that evening, chopping vegetables for dinner. She looked up when I came in, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing the oversized sweater that I secretly loved because it made her look soft and approachable and dangerously huggable. So, I said, trying to sound casual, the sticky notes. Her knife paused mid-chop. You found them. Kinda hard to miss. Maya, what is this? What are you doing? She set the knife down and turned to face me fully, her eyes, brown and warm and currently filled with something I couldn't quite name, met mine. I'm giving you reasons. Reasons for what? Reasons why. She took a breath. Reasons why I can't stop thinking about you. Reasons why I notice everything you do. Reasons why I've been terrified to say anything because what if I'm wrong? What if you don't feel the same way? What if I ruin the best friendship I've ever had? The kitchen suddenly felt very small. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and insistent in my ears. You're not wrong. I'm not? No. My voice came out steadier than I felt. But Maya, I need to know what this is. I need to know if you're sure because I can't do the thing where someone experiments with me and then decides it was just a phase. I've done that before, and it nearly broke me. She crossed the space between us in 3 steps, close enough that I could smell her shampoo, something floral and sweet, close enough that I had to tilt my head slightly to maintain eye contact. I'm not experimenting, she said quietly. I've known I was bi since college. I just never told you because you never asked, and I didn't know if you were interested, and I was scared. You were scared? I almost laughed. Maya, I've been half in love with you since the day you moved in and lectured me about the proper way to organize a spice rack. Half in love? Her lips curved into a smile. Only half? I was trying to be conservative with my estimates. She laughed then, soft and breathy, and I wanted to memorize the sound. There are going to be more notes, she said. I have a whole list. 37 reasons, actually. I've been keeping track. 37? I'm thorough. It's one of my flaws. That's not a flaw. See, that's going to be reason number 38. I found reason number 4 on my laptop keyboard the next morning. You remember how I take my tea, even though I only mentioned it once, 3 months ago. Reason number 5 was on the TV remote. You always let me pick what we watch, even when I know you hate reality dating shows. Reason number 6 was stuck to the spine of my favorite book, the one I'd read so many times the pages were falling out. You cry at the same part every time you read this, and you think I don't notice, but I do. Each note felt like a small confession, a tiny piece of vulnerability offered up for me to hold. I kept them all, pressing them carefully into a notebook I usually used for grocery lists and random thoughts. They deserved better than being thrown away. We didn't talk about the notes directly. Instead, we existed in this strange new space where everything felt charged with possibility. Our hands touched more often, lingering a second longer than necessary. She started sitting closer to me on the couch during our evening TV sessions, her thigh pressed against mine, warm and solid and real. Reason number 7 appeared on the fridge. You leave me the last of the good coffee even when I know you want it. Reason number 8 was on my phone screen, written on a sticky note small enough to fit. You text me random thoughts throughout the day like you can't wait to share them with me. I couldn't wait. That was the truth of it. Whenever something funny or strange or interesting happened, my first instinct was to tell Maya. She'd become the person I most wanted to share my life with in all the small, mundane ways that actually mattered. Reason number 9 was stuck to my pillow. You make me feel safe. That one made me cry, just a little, sitting on my bed with the note in my hands. Safe. What a gift that was, to make someone feel safe. What a responsibility. I found her in her room that evening, sitting cross-legged on her bed with her laptop, probably working on the graphic design project she'd been stressing about all week. I knocked on the doorframe even though the door was open. "Hey," she said, looking up with a smile that made my chest ache. "Can I come in?" "Always." I sat on the edge of her bed, the note still clutched in my hand. "This one," I said, holding it up. "This one matters. They all matter." "I know, but this one especially. Maya, you make me feel safe, too. You make me feel like I can be exactly who I am, without apology or explanation. Do you know how rare that is?" She closed her laptop and set it aside, shifting to face me more fully. "I think I'm starting to understand." "I want to kiss you," I said, the words tumbling out before I could second-guess them. "I've wanted to kiss you for months, and these notes are making it very difficult to maintain any kind of reasonable boundaries." "Who says I want you to maintain boundaries?" "Maya." "Kiss me," she said. "Please. I've been leaving you a trail of breadcrumbs for days now, hoping you'd find your way here." So I did. I leaned forward, giving her every opportunity to change her mind, to pull back, to laugh it off as a joke. But she didn't. She met me halfway, her hand coming up to cup my cheek, her lips soft and sure against mine. It was everything a first kiss should be. Gentle and exploratory, a question and an answer all at once. She tasted like the peppermint tea she'd been drinking, and when she made a small sound in the back of her throat, I felt it all the way down to my toes. When we finally pulled apart, both slightly breathless, she was smiling. "That was reason number 10, she whispered. "What was?" "The way you kiss, like you're trying to memorize me." The notes continued. Reason number 11 was on the coffee table. You remember everyone's birthdays and actually send cards. Reason number 12 was stuck to the bathroom cabinet. You always replace the toilet paper roll instead of leaving it empty like a monster. That one made me laugh out loud. Leave it to Maya to include household chores in her list of romantic reasons. Reason number 13 was more serious, stuck to my journal. You're brave in ways you don't give yourself credit for. We fell into a new rhythm, one that included kissing on the couch during commercial breaks, holding hands while we cooked dinner, Goodnight kisses that lasted longer than they probably should. We were taking it slow, figuring out how to shift from friends to something more without losing what we'd already built. Reason number 14 was on my car keys. You drive carefully when I'm in the car because you know I'm nervous. Reason number 15 was on the mirror again. You leave me encouraging notes when you know I have a hard day ahead. That one felt deliciously meta, and I sent her a text with a string of laughing emojis. Reason number 16 was stuck to my laptop. You take your work seriously, but not yourself. Reason number 17 was on the kitchen counter. You dance while you cook, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I was beginning to understand that Maya saw me in ways I didn't see myself. Each note was a mirror, reflecting back parts of me I'd never considered noteworthy. It was humbling and terrifying and wonderful all at once. We were 3 weeks into the sticky note project when I found reason number 18 on my nightstand. You make me want to be braver. I carried that one with me all day, tucked into my pocket like a talisman. That evening, I made dinner while Maya was working late, something special instead of our usual quick weeknight meal. When she came home, tired and stressed, I had the table set with candles and the good plates we usually saved for guests we never actually had. "What's this?" she asked, dropping her bag by the door. "Reason number 1 why you should let me take you on an actual date," I said. "I'm thoughtful and romantic when given the opportunity." Her face lit up. "Are you asking me out?" "I am, officially. Maya Chen, will you go on a date with me this Saturday? Somewhere that's not our living room, where we can dress up and hold hands in public and be disgustingly cute together?" "Yes," she said, crossing to me and wrapping her arms around my waist. "Absolutely yes. Though for the record, I love being disgustingly cute with you in our living room, too." "Our living room," I repeated. "I like how that sounds." "Me too." Reason number 19 appeared Friday morning. You make me laugh even when I'm determined to be grumpy. Reason number 20 was stuck to the dress I'd laid out for our date. You have excellent taste in clothes and in women. Our date was perfect in that imperfect, real-life kind of way. We went to a small Italian restaurant where the pasta was incredible and the service was charmingly chaotic. We talked for 3 hours about everything and nothing, the conversation flowing as easily as it always did. But now I could reach across the table and take her hand, could lean in and kiss her without worrying about crossing a line. Walking home, her hand in mine, I felt something settle in my chest. Peace, maybe, or rightness. The sense that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The notes continued through the following weeks. Reason number 21, you give the best hugs, the kind that feel like coming home. Reason number 22, you're patient with me when I'm figuring things out. Reason number 23, you see the best in people, even when they don't deserve it. Each note was a love letter in miniature, a confession wrapped in adhesive and paper. I started leaving notes of my own, unable to resist. On her coffee mug, your smile is my favorite thing. On her laptop, you're brilliant and you need to stop doubting yourself. On the bathroom mirror, good morning, beautiful. She found that last one and immediately came to find me, still in her pajamas, hair adorably mussed from sleep. "You can't just leave notes like that and expect me to function normally," she said, but she was grinning. "Seemed only fair," I replied. "You've been sabotaging my emotional stability for weeks." "Good." We were learning each other, the way you do when a relationship is new. I learned that she was grumpy before her first cup of coffee, that she stress-cleaned when she was anxious, that she had a terrible habit of leaving half-drunk glasses of water on every available surface. She learned that I was a chronic over-planner, that I needed at least 20 minutes of quiet in the morning to feel human, that I had a weakness for terrible puns that made her groan and laugh in equal measure. Reason number 24 was on my phone again. You send me songs that remind you of me. Reason number 25 was stuck to the remote. You're teaching me that love doesn't have to be complicated or painful. That one stopped me cold. I found her in the kitchen and just held her for a long moment, my face pressed into her shoulder, breathing her in. "Thank you," I whispered. "For what?" "For trusting me with this. With you." Her arms tightened around me. "Thank you for being trustworthy." The notes kept coming. Reason 26. You remember the little things. 27. You make me feel seen. 28. You're kind to strangers and it makes me want to be kinder too. 29. You believe in me even when I don't believe in myself. We were 2 months into whatever this was, this beautiful thing we were building together, when I found reason number 30 on my pillow. You make me believe in happy endings. I was starting to believe in them too, which was something I never thought I'd say again. Love had always felt like a risk I wasn't sure I could afford to take, not after the last time. But with Maya, it felt less like falling and more like choosing every single day to step towards something good. Reason 31 was on the coffee maker, bringing us full circle. You've made this apartment feel like home. Reason 32 was on my car dashboard. You sing along to every song and don't care who hears. Reason 33 was tucked into my favorite book. You've taught me what it means to be loved well. I was crying by the time I found Reason 34, stuck to the fridge at eye level. You make me want to be brave enough to say I love you. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and texted her. Where are you? Work. Why? Everything okay? Come home. It's only 2 p.m. Maya, come home. Please. She must have heard something in those words because she just replied, on my way. I paced the apartment, the note clutched in my hand, my heart racing. 20 minutes felt like hours. When I finally heard her key in the lock, I met her at the door. What's wrong? She asked immediately, concern written all over her face. Nothing's wrong, everything's right. Maya, I found Reason 34. Understanding dawned in her eyes. Oh. You make me want to be brave enough to say I love you, I repeated. That's what it says. So I'm being brave. I love you. I'm in love with you. Completely, terrifyingly, wonderfully in love with you. Her eyes were shining with tears. Those weren't supposed to make you cry. Happy tears, she said. These are very happy tears. And for the record, I love you too. That's what the last 3 notes are going to say, just in different ways. There are 3 more? 35, 36, and 37. I've had them written for weeks. I was just waiting for the right moment. What are you waiting for now? She smiled, pulling the notes from her pocket. She stuck 35 on my chest, right over my heart. I love you. 36 went on my forehead, making me laugh even as tears ran down my cheeks. I love you. 37 she kept in her hand, holding it up so I could read it. I love you, and I'm not afraid anymore. I kissed her then, there in our entryway, sticky notes and all. It tasted like salt from our tears and felt like a promise, like a beginning, like coming home. Later, lying on the couch with her head on my shoulder, I asked, what made you decide to do this? The notes, I mean. I needed a way to tell you that didn't feel like too much all at once, she said. I was scared of overwhelming you, of saying the wrong thing, so I thought, what if I just showed you piece by piece all the reasons I was falling for you? What if I built it up slowly, gave you time to process, to decide if you wanted this too? That's incredibly thoughtful and also kind of manipulative in the sweetest possible way. She laughed. I prefer to think of it as strategic romance. I love you, I said, because I could now, because she'd given me that gift. I love you too, she replied. Reason number 38. What? That you tell me you love me like you can't quite believe you get to say it. I pulled her closer, pressing a kiss to the top of her head. I'm going to need a bigger notebook, I said. For all the reasons I love you. Fair warning, my list is going to be much longer than 37. I'm counting on it, she whispered. And in that moment, in our apartment that had become our home, surrounded by sticky notes and possibility and love, I knew we were going to be okay. More than okay. We were going to be happy in all the small, ordinary, extraordinary ways that actually mattered. Total char count, 16,847.